Okay, our three big stories tonight are really interesting. So Russia is now admitting that Ukraine is holding positions on the other side of the Dnipro River. Of course, they're not saying that they're doing well. They're saying it's small groups, they've been blocked, they're suffering heavy losses. The commander of the Russians is saying that our additional forces have now been deployed. Bombs, rockets, heavy flamethrower systems, artillery shells, and drones are flying at them. Kremlin earlier this week refused to comment on those reports. But as you know, admitting that you have a problem is the first step. And so they are admitting it, which is actually kind of surprising. But it said this, they refused to comment on those reports, deferring questions to the defense ministry. Nobody wanted to be the bearer of that kind of bad news. Okay, second article. This is also bad news. Alleged Russian smuggling network charged with sending weapons components from the U.S. to the Ukraine. So what's going on here? There were a few Russians in the United States in Brooklyn, New York. A suspected Russian smuggling ring has been charged with sending prohibited electronics worth millions of dollars. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn accused two men and one woman of sending semiconductors, circuits, dual-use electronic components worth about $10 million to Russia. And these are the three guys. They're all Russian. What prosecutors called a global procurement scheme on behalf of sanctioned Russian entities. And so the suspected are accused of shipping items to Turkey, Hong Kong, India, China, and United Arab Emirates. And from there, they would be sent to Russia. Now, the problem is these are used in guided weaponry systems, and people have probably died as a consequence of the Russians having this technology. Kind of a jerk move. They were at least Russians, not just someone on the take. So, I mean, at least there's that, but they're now caught and prosecuted. Okay, the third story, it's about to get even weirder. Trump's most effective inoculation effort centered around Russian influence. And so, this is talking about Rudy Giuliani, who, let me just read. On Monday, the Ukrainian Security Service, SBU, brought charges of treason against Oleksandr Dubinsky, a former member of the Ukrainian parliament. Dubinsky is accused of helping Russia to spread fakes about the alleged interference in Ukrainian high-ranking officials in the United States in 2020. So this Ukrainians helping Russians spread false information in the United States, including reaching out to folks like Rudy Giuliani. His partner, Dierkrak, for having waged a covert influence campaign centered on cultivating false and unsubstantiated narratives concerning U.S. officials in the upcoming 2020 presidential election, spurring corruption investigations in both the Ukraine and the United States designed to culminate prior to Election Day. You probably picked up on a theme here. Dierkrak and Dubinsky were involved in efforts to spread false information with the aim of affecting the 2020 election. Those efforts directly involved Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani. Now, for Giuliani, he's looking at this going, hey, there's some scheme with Biden, and here's what it was. Nonetheless, by the end of 2018 or early 2019, Shokin began speaking with Giuliani, already serving as Trump's attorney, claiming that his ouster was a function by an effort by Joe Biden to protect Burisma on behalf of his son. Okay, so this is like saying, hey, there's this conspiracy theory. He's lying to Giuliani, and Giuliani is apparently just lapping it up. And for Giuliani, though, there was obvious appeal to the narrative. Biden was generally understood to be Trump's most dangerous threat in his 2020 election, so a claim that he'd acted illegally would be useful. But Giuliani, I think, was hoodwinked. Giuliani should have known better. He made his bones in the 1980s prosecuting the mafia. He prosecuted the five families under racketeering, influence, and corruption charges. He should know better, but apparently he didn't. Okay, that's the three stories. Thank you for the likes, shares, subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.